Hey, gorgeous, beautiful beings. I really hope you can hear me. Anyone who does get a chance to pop on, please let me know, because I'm taking a little risk here with a microphone and a different webcam, but I really wanted to connect with you all ahead of the basically seeding of the StarSeed codes with the co-creation meditation that I'm going to be running tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. English time, BST. Remember, that is 5 hours behind for Eastern Standard Time, and I believe it's 8 hours behind or 7 hours behind for Pacific Standard Time. So I really would love you to join me because we've got a lot of work to do. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rosie Glow. I channel divine grace through the power of revelation. And ultimately what this is about is us remembering who we really are. So I work with awakening starseeds to download the divine human consciousness, to unplug them from the matrix and plug them into their soul consciousness, remind them where they're from, what they've come here to do, and then to be able to co-create the most powerful way of sharing their gift with this world. And, you know, this is something that's so important because I'm seeing so many gifted people out in the world today, and they're putting great stuff out there. And I'm just wondering, is this the highest octave of what you came here to do? Is this the ultimate expression of your light and love? Or are you expressing your woundedness and therefore putting more woundedness out into the world? And we have been moving through a series of meditations and upgrades recently that have been evolving us from the wounded masculine, wounded feminine, wounded inner child to their counterpoints of divine inner child, divine masculine, divine feminine. And I've been taking some time out. I'm currently in a really beautiful, idyllic place out in Cornwall, resting and recharging after, well, the first Divine Feminine Leadership Retreat I've ever run, which was full of codes. Absolutely an amazing experience of accessing both the Magdalene flame, with it came the Christed flame, and also the Lady Nada flame, which is the higher octave of Magdalene. A different expression of that truth, a higher expression of the truth that allows us to share truth in a way that expands people's hearts rather than contracts them in fear. And so this was new to me. I had to totally trust what I was being given and what I shared with the sisters who came along. But it was very clear that it was just a prototype for what is going to come, because we're here to activate our divine masculine, divine feminine, and divine child within the whole being, whatever our external presence looks like, or whatever our genitals say, whatever our internal organs say. Those are not the ultimately what is determining what we're doing here. We are evolving from a wounded and basically programmed state into one where we remember who we truly are and what we've come here to do. And it's really important we do that. So 2 weeks ago, the full moon was a full moon in Pisces, and we were connecting with the divine feminine womb, the womb before all of the wounds. And interestingly enough, one of my colleagues, the lovely Jo Baldwin-Trott, was yesterday doing a meditation herself where she was sending healing to all of the wounded and abandoned children. So the element of the wounded and abandoned inner child. This is what we're doing when we are in a place where we're not struggling to survive ourselves, when we're in a space where we are beyond the fear trappings of the mainstream. Okay, you know, in this real time in the UK, we have apparent fuel shortages, but those fuel shortages have coincided with the government, one, announcing that they're going to be putting fluoride in our water next year, and secondly, that they have a plan B for the winter, which would involve anything that at the moment being optional suddenly becoming mandatory, which is similar to what's going on in the rest of the world. And we could get so caught up in the third dimensional reality. But I have shared a link that is in the text box of this video. Please check it out. Absolutely amazing guy talking about the 12 different densities, and about the fact that 3D is really just one story of many different narratives. And ultimately, we've been in an intergalactic Star Wars battle for so long that we've forgotten what the whole point of it was. And we're here now to seed star peace. And I'm going to say it again and again and again, because that is the role that we have as we evolve beyond our personal wounds and we teach others how to do the same. So here's the energy update for basically what's coming with this new moon in Libra. If we just had a full moon in Pisces healing that allowed us to come into a divine feminine cocoon and receive the love of the divine feminine without the wounded aspects that we then absorbed and passed on from one generation to the next, because this is what we do as humans. We then moved into the equinox, which we had on Wednesday, And this was 2 weeks ago. And this was really, again, about a 5D energy upgrade to allow us to be able to bring the balance in our own beings of what needs to be balanced. Okay. In each and every one of our chakras, we will have elements that are out of balance. And I feel like one of the things that we lose sight of is the idea that we're not here to be all sweetness and light any more than we're here to be all darkness and density, right? We're here to have this play between the two. And I'm just going to read something that has come through from Matt Kahn, which was shared with me. And it really sets us up for this new moon in Libra, because for us to have a balance in ourselves, in our world, and in the universe, we absolutely must. Whoever's here, please tell me that you can hear me. Please let me know that you can hear me. Welcome those who are joining, because I'm testing out a new mic and video option. So yeah, basically, with the new moon energies that are coming in, we are being called to come to our midline, okay? We're being called to step out of our personal narrative that we're so attached to, okay? Whether it's a mainstream fear-based narrative in the 3D or an alternative narrative in 4D, which, you know, any level of, hey, Dawn, good to see you. C theories, again, I talk in code here because I just don't need to trigger anything that's going to be a problem, but anything that's generally banded about as a C theory, you know, the tin hat stuff, is basically going to exist in 4D. And 4D is the realm of the mind. It is an expanded consciousness, but there are many different narratives in 4D. Let's just remember that what we're doing at the moment is we're learning to move beyond duality, right and wrong, to come into the middle of neutrality so that we can ascend to the highest level possible in our own physical density. So we can be the beacon of light with the most high and potent frequencies of love and light we can actually bring through our bodies to transmit through the crystalline grid, the crystalline codes, the Christic codes. There is a connection here between our divinity, our crystals, if you like, or the crystal and mineral kingdom that holds so much of our story for us to access, and also our starseed consciousness. Like everything is happening multidimensionally and all at the same time, right here, right now. And it's happening for us to remember that time isn't linear and to come back to that point, the zero point, which allows us to remember again that our vibration is everything. So, you know, it's very easily to be pulled from your center. Libra as a sign is always seeking balance. Typically, Librans like to sit on the fence and not so much to swing one way or another, but they're always seeking balance in their lives. They're air signs. So, you know, the mental realm is very powerful. And I'm saying this because we can utilize 4D concepts, which are things like astrology and philosophy and any kind of tool, if you like, that is mind expanding, to understand more about what's going on this earth in relation to the universe and the multiverse. But it is time we claim both our sovereignty and also our divinity, and accept that there are different levels of godhood, okay? And perhaps it's helpful to consider, just like we can question our current public health system and say, is this the best that is possible? It is a system, but is it the best that is possible? Is it the ultimate system of healthcare, health prevention, and health treatment? Are there other options? That's the question I'm asking. In the same way that we relate to the divine and say, well, this is one element of godhood. Is it the ultimate God? Like the concepts that this particular Godhead is, you know, putting forward to me. Is this the ultimate multiverse, omniverse concept, or is it something along the way that we have received as information to understand a bit more about where we're at? So we can't have full enlightenment in one go, just totally blow our minds. We get it in stages. And what happens in my world is I'll get signs like concepts that are coming up. And then I'll, like months later or years later, hear someone say something and it's like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what was coming through for me. And that is confirmation for those of us who are like walking along the path of uncharted territory, being heart-led rather than mind-led, so that we're not operating from our programming. We're utilizing our programming to support our heart-led truth. You know, we are really having to trust all of the time that we're getting information from the world around us to confirm that although we feel as though we're kind of moving in the darkness, we're being guided by an inner light. And the theme that I'm seeing coming up again and again, my friends, is that the very things that we say we want the most, we're also the most scared of. So, I'm here to shine my light in the darkness, but I'm also scared of being a target in the darkness, right? Because my light is so visible. So we then create all of this self-sabotage, whether it's hiding our visibility, whether it's playing small, whether it's not going for gold, that prevent us from actually fully doing what we're here to do. And there's no time for that anymore. We're here to do something amazing. So let me read this to you, and then I'll conclude with what else is coming up. Instead of trying to silence your mind chatter, simply love the one who wants to chat. Instead of trying to shift your feelings, just love the one who can't stop feeling. Instead of trying to resolve each fear, simply love the one who's always afraid. Instead of trying to not take things personally, just love the one that came here to make life personal. Do you see what we're doing here with resistance? We're leaning into it rather than creating more of a divide. This stops the cycle of rejection, abandonment, and betrayal. That's what those of you who are here working with me, watching my videos, are here to do. To get off your high horse, off your soapbox, and trust me, I love being on mine and my high horse. Wind your neck in, get over the judgment, and come back into neutrality, where you can love every aspect of your being. Because as you do this for you, you will do it for the world, and this will be the example that helps us all to ascend as quickly as possible. Instead of trying to prove your worth, simply love the one who feels worthless, lost, ashamed, and alone. Instead of trying to leap forward in evolution, just love the one who feels left behind. Instead of having something to prove, simply love the one who came here to play. Instead of bossing yourself around and measuring your progress through spiritual obedience, just love the one who refuses to listen. Instead of trying to believe, simply love the one in doubt. So you're loving all your rebel selves, right? This is really helpful for Libra. It's a bit like Gemini. Instead of trying whatever you attempt, just love the one who needs permission to be. Whatever arises, love that. This is the way of an awakening heart. Okay, so we are awakening hearts. Do you know the Caduceus? I've been calling it the Asclepian sign for ages, but it's actually the Caduceus sign. So this is used typically in our medical system currently, the cross, and then you've got two snakes that go up either side. And this is a very important symbol for us in terms of unifying our duality, our dual nature. You could say one of the snakes is the masculine, one is the feminine, and then the inner child is the central stick, right? The central cross. You could say that the light and the dark are represented by the two different snakes. You'll also see that they weave through all of the energy centers that basically help us to integrate all of our being: humanness, soul, star consciousness, divine consciousness, all of the layers of our beingness. Okay, we have to unite them to ascend. So we're in a Mercury retrograde phase as well. And this, for me, I'm really seeing as a chance to review. I mean, I know we talk about the small print and, don't sign contracts and all that kind of thing at this time, but actually it's more about allowing things to come to light that don't make sense. We're shining the spotlight now. Those of us who are balanced in our energies, we are able to stay in the center, not be swayed about by our emotions in such a way that we can hold the accountability, we can command the transparency, and request the integrity that should be there just by living that example and saying, okay, well, there are these big decisions being made on a global scale that, we're being told we have no choice but to accept. Those decisions need to actually be made on parameters that we can all agree on. And don't we need to look at all evidence and not discount some over others? And why are we favoring one option over another? This is not something we can make rash decisions on. It's not logical. And when we actually do allow ourselves to look at this time period, these next few weeks as a review time period, and we decide, those of us who are watching this, that are participating in the seeding of these 5D consciousness frequencies to the planet, what we're doing is we're allowing it to happen on a global scale. So we're empowering those who are doing the pressurizing of the current system to collapse to have more energy to do so. And we're also forcing the accountability that's required so that we can really start to build a new world from the old one. Okay, so we have to move beyond the judgment. We have to move beyond the desire for vindication. and punishment, because all of that is old world. We've got to come into the midline and say, what is going to unite us all? What is going to be what we can all agree on? And as we come into the new moon energies that, you know, the new moon isn't until next Wednesday, but tomorrow is when I am going to be offering the co-creation meditation, which is really a seeding of the StarSeed codes for this next level of balance. So if we have upgraded our circuitry so that our inner masculine and inner feminine are doing some integration and healing to support our inner child and the needs that we have to create a new world, because that's what we're doing through our imagination. And we know we're being thwarted, whether it's, you know, to try and stop our pineal glands working properly through fluoride, or whether it's, you know, by suppressing our immune system through other methods, or whatever it might be. We can create something else from this. So the divine child is the creator within us, okay, the creatress within us. It needs both the element of the feminine, the feeling state, and also the masculine, the mind, to work together, so that that inspired action can come from the embodiment of the feeling state of that perfect creation already being created. When you come and you join me for the co-creation meditations, we're activating a feeling state, and we're anchoring that feeling state into the crystalline grid so that it's transmitted across the planet, supporting the higher frequencies, the higher octaves of expression to be expressed. And we're also opening our channels to bring in higher frequency than 5D. We've got, you know, I'm currently working with 9D consciousness that's coming through, and working with another lovely teacher on that, Jill Kirkham. We're opening up to being able to conceptualize, to understand omnipresence and the multiverse in such a way that we can align with the ultimate divinity rather than steps along the way. This is the exciting stuff that's going on with us. So just join me tomorrow, 12:30. Make yourself a cup of cacao if you have some, like ceremonial grade cacao. Allow yourself, what else did I say, to open to the fact that neutrality isn't about giving up. It's about being able to ascend as high as you can so that you can hold the light on this planet to support the ascension as quickly as possible. Claiming our sovereignty is a choice we make every day. You know, I bought this T-shirt yesterday because it said Queen on it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have some of that. I'll be the queen of my own castle. Thank you. And detaching from the narratives that fuel us. So how often do we go, see, I told you? I mean, I could go on and on about this, and we all do it, including me. But like, we want to see evidence in the collective that what we have been seeing is now being seen by everyone. First of all, we have to believe that, and then we will start to see it. So shining the spotlight on what is currently is the benefit and the gift of this Mercury retrograde. It's also to help us to balance out more of our inner masculine and inner feminine to support our inner child. So when we actually gather tomorrow, this balance of light and dark, I mean, it's all still coming through, I have to say. Like, I'm being given need to know information at the moment, but I'm getting a lot of information coming through from my StarSeed families, my star families, if you like. And I'm being asked just to hand over everything I don't know how to deal with, everything that feels difficult, just to talk to them. Now, call that talking to your angels, your celestial guides, your teachers. Like, just express what you would like some support with. Remember that all of us who are here now, today, are here to be well supported to fulfill our mission. We're not meant to be struggling through it. So giving yourself permission to receive more is really important. And so what we'll be doing tomorrow is just balancing out everything that needs to be balanced within us so we can be on that center line of our board. I'm thinking about surfing at the moment because I've been attempting to surf over the last few days. Ian's out surfing. It's pissing down with rain. I don't want to be out there. I pulled a muscle yesterday. But bottom line is I can't stand up and it's really annoying me. But it's about learning, you know, the balance of being on something that's wobbly and then finding that midline and being able to stand into it and not fall off. And that's the practice. And we all have to practice this. So this is what tomorrow's new moon energy is going to all be about. What am I calling it? 5D reality StarSeed activation of the new moon in Libra. So for those of you who've been following me for a while or working with me, for a little while, I've been like a little at odds with why am I still doing new moon and full moon stuff when really I have come to kind of accept that the moon is not a natural construct. It's been put in place in our solar system to allow for time to be measured in a certain way and for us to be influenced in a certain way by external forces. And I mean, consciousness is a very interesting thing. And if you do follow the link below, you'll see just how amazing it is. Thanks, Nix. I will get there, but today I'm just like, I just want to stay in bed. So yeah, what am I saying? Totally lost my train of thought here. New moon, star seeds, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's it. Yeah, working with the moons and the full moons. These are set points for us to measure where we're at. With new moons, we seed new concepts. With full moons, we clear up resistance, because in our solar system, resistance will come up. It's the subconscious element, which is why I am still working with the new and the full moon energies, but not because I'm worshipping the moon, okay? I'm seeing so much feminine rising stuff at the moment that it's kind of leaving me a little with a bad taste in my mouth, because it's wonderful that we are waking up to, you know, remembering the codes within us, the wisdom we have within us. Those of us who are taking a female form are all resonating as a feminine. But we have to remember that we ain't been in balance for a very, very, very long time. And the masculine and the feminine needs to both be balanced within us and in our collective. And that is the work of the uniarchy codes, which are seeded with you all with the equinox. Okay. So uniarchy or lovearchy, lovearchy, however you want to call it, is the new era, it's the new paradigm where we're moving beyond right and wrong, light and dark. We're coming to the midline. We're coming to the place where everything is an experience that has been necessary in order for us to be able to see squiggles and lines at the same time, or dots and squiggles at the same time. So with quantum physics, it used to be that you could only see, you had to set an experiment up to either look for, I can't remember, particles or waves, right? And that then told us about how the, not the influencer, but the observer influences the experiment, because depending on what you're looking for, you will find. But since those earlier experiments, we've now been able to see particles and waves at the same time. Now, this is our capacity to be able to evolve beyond the duality, right and wrong, one or the other, into everything coexisting at the same time. On another level, there are people on this planet that still think that quantum physics and epigenetics is quackery and nonsense and not established science. And it's a bit like, all right, dinosaur, let us know when you're caught up, mate. You know, we're busy building the new world here, and you can't get caught up with it. Everyone is going to be evolving at whatever rate they're meant to. Like, get on with your job, right? You have a unique gift to share with this world. I could have spent the rest of my life just being a yoga teacher. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's not a wrong thing. But there's so many other things I've come here to do that if I had just stayed there and not gone through the discomfort of growing beyond that, because I had an itch that said there's more to what I'm meant to be doing than this, I would never be a multidimensional success coach or a multidimensional world bridger or a StarSeed activator or a divine human divine feminine or divine human leadership coach. Like, I wouldn't be any of these things. I had to stretch beyond what I knew. We all need to do this. Good. I'm glad you are. So I could go on, but let's keep this shorter. So the long and short of it is we're now talking about the new moon and full moon and anything else I'm putting on this channel as being a 5D lens, a 5D focus to allow you to see beyond the right and the wrong, the chess game of 3D and 4D into the world where we shine the spotlight. And therefore, we get more information about the unique gifts we each have to share here, the piece of the puzzle that we're here in co-creating the world's first conscious choice experience of the most graceful, easy, and joyful ascension paradise timeline. That's the game we're in. All right. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Please do share this video on your social platforms if you would like to invite others to come and join. And as always, if you would like to get involved with doing some work with us, now's the time. You can book a breakthrough call through rosieglow.com. You can join our community through signing up to the Star Salutation Prosperity Practice. You know, wherever you're at, whatever you need, if you would like to bring in the divine human consciousness, the ascended master in training consciousness, along with your star seed awakening and as star consciousness activation, and learn how to live it in your physical reality, That's what I help people do. All right. Love you loads. Take care. Share the love. I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 UK time. Bye now.